Evening again, guys. Adam here from Sapphire Comic Sanctuary. Back now with another video. Damn, two videos in one day. I don't think I've ever done that. but just got done doing my new comic book day reviews for March, so those are coming back. And now we'll go to a review that I forgot to do, but I still remember this book quite well. And that is going to be Sword Art Online Unital Ring Part 1 by Reki Kawahara with some illustrations by Abek. So basically, Unital Ring is technically the last arc of Sword Art Online. Uh, to start with, this takes place just a few months after the events of War of Underworld, and it is a huge reading. They're only up to Unital Ring Part 3, I think. Or Part 4, I forget. I'll have to look at the wiki. Um, so, SAO Unital Ring number 1 is the beginning of a brand new SAO arc, and it is likely going to be its final arc. You got Ellis the cat girl. You got Asuna in her Elfheim avatar, and Kirito in level 1 MMORPG gear. So before I start getting into it, let me just read the back here real quick. Read the novel that ignited the phenomenon. A year has passed since Kirito and Asuna's return from the underworld. With them is Ellis, who has been given a physical body, but their peace is quickly broken when the three are suddenly thrust into an unfamiliar game, Unital Ring. This new world is a survival MMO that fuses together every VRMMO created with the Seed program. As soon as it starts, Kirito finds himself with nothing but his underwear. Now he's got to challenge a mysterious VRMMO OSVG under desperate circumstances. So, what is this about? Well, basically, all the virtual worlds are now combined into one, into this game. It is a survival game. Uh, the book starts out with the collapse of Eincrad into what looks like Elfheim's landscape, but it quickly changes to be Unital's arena. And they're all switch over to this new game. So we'll talk about it once we get inside the book, but I just want to show you a close up of the front, the binding. There you go. The back. Pause if you want to read that yourself. So let's go ahead and open it up here. There's the first inside page. There's some illustrations. Notice the red sky. What does that remind you of? Episode 1 of SAO. Here's another. And another. And the initial map of Unital Ring. Uh, don't study that map until you've read chapter 3, is basically what it's telling you. So the book starts off with them doing their Kirito's working on schoolwork, and Liz and Silica are on another floor doing homework. I'm sorry, upping their skills. But before they get into that, jumping ahead here, is there's a brief recap of the overall SAA story, starting with who Kirito is, who his family is and was, and his life has how his life has gone through Sword Art Online, Elfheim Online Part One, Gungil Online Part One, Elfheim Online Part Two, Gungil Online Part Two, if you want to include Alicizzation's first episode in there, or and all the things that happen Alicization with the underworld. So it just goes over that and gives you just a brief overview of everything. Briefly explains some events from the end of in the 200 years that Kirito and Asuna have spent in the underworld, which was only 20 minutes in the real world. Uh, so uh, Kirito gets to work on his homework, and he's just working on his homework, waiting for people to log into the game. While Liz and Silica are up on floor 45, just leveling up their skills. With Yui, of course. And uh, throughout all this, we get a really good summary of what Alicization was all about because it is a royally confusing read if you did not watch the anime and did not read the books. A lot happened in Alicization and Underworld. So, we also Alice joins Kirito in their house on the 22nd floor. So there's that illustration. And they just talk about all the things that happen in the underworld because Kirito's memories weren't 100% wiped from the underworld. He still has his memories prior to those 200 years that he spent in the underworld. So his time with Yu-Gi-Oh, best bro. And it continues to just summarize everything about what's going on in the ocean turtle, why they can't access the underworld at will, etc., etc. I don't want to spoil that because it's a huge recap chapter. So if it does get turned into an anime, expect the first two episodes to be brief episodes. So as the chapter progresses, Asuna joins them, and all of a sudden there is an earthquake of some sort that shakes their house to the very foundation. When they step outside to look, they notice the sky is turning red with a warning sign on it, and that is when uh, they get flashbacks to that very, very first time in SAO when it went into production. So they're worried. It's like, oh no, not again, not again. So it's a very, very rough earthquake because this is Aincrad collapsing. So the floor that their house is sitting on is splitting apart, and they want to save this house. For those of you that have watched SAO as long as I have, you will know that the wooden cabin in the woods on floor 22 or 23, I forget, has a lot of memories for Kirito and Asuna and the rest of the group. That's where Kirito and Asuna lived together in their time in SAO. That's where they reconvened with their friends. They met Yui there. They raised Yui there in a way, sort of. I don't know how that works. And and Asuna's mother even has memories of that house too, because in Mother's Rosario, Asuna's mother, if I recall properly, I'm rewatching the anime for this, warms up to Asuna's love of MMORPGs. So everything's collapsing. They use their wings to get up underneath the house to protect it as it's falling to the ground. and uh, they hit the ground uh, pretty hard. Kirito lost half his HP, and everyone else lost half their HP too. And the house was severely damaged as well. So when they're waking up from that event that shook the very foundation of Minecraft and split that castle in two, um, we find that they're not in Elfheim anymore. They're in something different. So as they're trying to explore and make sense of this new world in Unital Ring, they have to uh, learn the controls. So in SAO in Elfheim, you would swipe down to access your menu. Well, in Unital Ring, you gotta draw a ring with your hand like that, and that's how you access the menu. It's a silly gimmick, but it's called Unital Ring. What do you expect? Uh, where was I? So when they finally reach the ground, they regain their senses. Uh, they get familiar with the UI for this new game called Unital Ring, and they go and check on the house. They're all reduced to level 1. They have HP, MP, and TP, and SP, so they have their thirst percentage and their stamina percentage. Um, because this is a survival game, a 100% survival game. If you ever played Ark, it's kind of like that. So to rebuild the house, they have to rebuild it with materials they find around the area. First is wood, and while there's a grace period between the combination of all the VRMMORPG worlds, they're able to use their skills and swords. But unfortunately, Kirito, being Kirito, needed to experiment with something, so he took off all his gear. And when he tried to put his sword on, uh, it weighed him down really, really bad. So he was over the weight limit. So speaking of that, here's that picture as he's collapsing from the weight of his own sword and armor. So they get familiar with this world, and Silica and Lisbeth are uh, trying to get used to it as well, figuring out how to craft things and what skills they can learn, all that. So let's see here. And you can actually log out from Unital Ring. So here's Sugaha judging Kirito for almost sleeping through dinner. She's actually mounted on top of him. Let's see here. Oh, we get to learn a little bit more about Silica, being the youngest member of Kirito's group of friends. Why she loves games and she's so different from her other classmates. So there's that. They go through a lot of crafting. In this survival game, there's a lot of crafting. There's attack power, striking power, burning, durability, and it goes down to the decimal. I don't know if you can see that, but there you go. There's our group right there. We got Lisbeth, Huey, Peanut, and Silica. They're hiding on a cave because they just saw these NPCs walk by, and they weren't sure if they were friendlies or not. Those NPCs are friendly, but as with all tribes, to earn their trust, you must dine with them and eat their food. And they're called the Bashin Warriors. Oh, sorry, yeah. So Kirito needs to talk to Sugaha or Lifa and get her help with what's going on in Unital Ring because their house is on the verge of being completely destroyed because with Unital Ring there is a durability countdown timer. Great, isn't it? No. So he's trying to round up as many people as he can. Let's see here. So Lifa is in there and they're working on she has her sword so she's able to defeat a lot of monsters because she's still in the grace period. But Kirito and the gang, Kirito, Asuna, and Alice are not in the gang. So here is them fighting a bear, a very high level bear. This is a level 10 bear versus a level 1 player. So fun times. So they do defeat that bear and get lots and lots of meat. And it also gives you a look at where to get iron. So the guy can pick up iron from the bear's cave. Fantastic, isn't it? Because iron needs to build iron sheets, and sheets are used to make armor. Like any MMORPG, if you're a crafter, you know. I was able to I was able to I was able to understand their frustration because I'm an Omni crafter in Final Fantasy 14. But I use macros for everything, so it doesn't bother me at all. Let's see. So the grace period ends, and this is going to be very important for Unital Ring going forward. So let me read. The seeds bud, sprout stems and leaves, and join ends to form a circular gate. Visitors to this land, drained of hope, preserve your solitary life, withstand myriad trials, survive untold dangers, and to the first to reach the land revealed by heavenly light, all shall be given. That is very, very much key. To the first to reach the land revealed by the heavenly light, all shall be given. So visitors, all shall be given. So visitors are going to be the players, and so there's a secret that they gotta learn. Kirito's friends, since the grace period was over, their armor's too heavy for them, plus weapons. So they tell Kirito, "Get out, so we can change." And they change into these beautiful woven dresses made from grass. Oh, also there's beast taming in here too. So Asuna tames a platypus-looking thing. Still with me? This is really good book, so I'm reviewing it as best as I can by flipping through the pages. Um, but yeah, it was And it also talks about the cardinal system being loaded into Unital Ring, etc., etc. So there's that. And they come across other players. And these players are just kind of wandering the wilderness. They also came off of Elfheim. And they asked for some help, some food and shelter. Basically, the house that Kirito, Asuna, and Alice and the entire gang of friends stays is their base. In a survival game, there's bases that you gotta protect and defend. So that's kind of what's up with this group of players. These group of players know more about the combat system, and they share that knowledge with Kirito and crew. And Kirito and crew share some food with them for that information and some of the crafts that they have come up with and other skills. But they get into a little fight, and it devolves into a PvP battle. Like I said, if you die once in Unital Ring, that's it. You cannot log back into Unital Ring. So what that implies is if you die, you can't access that avatar anymore because you can't access the game anymore because you died. So Kirito gets some armor from Yui because his crew is back, Lisbeth and Silica. And he goes ahead and stabs this player in the chest. So they have a happy reunion, and so they all get back together and they work on building the house. So, very good story. And it ends with them being back in school while we meet up with a new character called Shikimi Kamura. So, there she is. Apparently, she knows Asuna, or alludes to know Asuna. And then Kirito meets back up with none other than Argo the Rat. So you know some shenanigans are to precede this. So what a fantastic read. I absolutely loved Unital Ring. The SAO light novels are just fantastic. I cannot lie about that. So if you want to read, if you want to get caught up, this is probably going to be the next anime adaptation a few years down the road. There are not that many books right now for Unital Ring to make a full-fledged anime, but you can start by reading this and enjoy it because it's a really, really good one. And in Japan, they're up to, I believe, book 24, which is Unital Ring part 3 or 4. I forget. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, leave a comment down below. Are you excited for Unital Ring? I'm excited to read more about this, but damn it, issue 22 is going to be a bunch of short stories back from the earlier days of SAO. But I'm going to pick that up anyways and read it. So anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Leave a comment down below about what you like about SAO, what you're hoping Unital Ring will become. Have you been keeping up with Unital Ring already through the Japanese and other unofficial translated sites? Of course, if you dislike this video, there's a dislike button. Hit the like button if you liked it. If you want to see more content from me, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to be very first to any videos that I upload on this channel, go and hit the notification bell in the upper right hand corner of the screen. And with that, guys, thank you for watching. Patreon link down below. $3 a month, 24 hours private access to any video that I upload. Anyways, guys, thank you again for watching, and you all have a good week. Bye-bye.